name is Stephanie Caberline. I'm the owner of Matchline Interiors, commercial interior design firm out of Wake Forest. I was actually the designer for the Northern Wake Senior Center, and most of the time we only do commercial work, but today I'm here to talk about fall prevention tips in your home. I began my career actually as a residential interior designer, and so I put together a list of at least 50 different types of tips to think about and consider in your home to help you prevent falls. I'm not going to get into all the statistics about falls and injuries, but I can tell you that for seniors, most falls happen in the home. So it's something to be aware of, and we're going to look at different areas and walk through an actual home and touch on things that you should be aware of. The first thing I'll tell you is to plan as early as possible for modifications and any renovation work, things that you think you might need, even if it's a few years out. The owners of this home actually planned the construction of this home with that in mind. The newer trend now is universal design, which is a type of design that benefits people of all ages and abilities. From all outward appearances, this home appears to be just like any other home, but the owners have actually planned ahead for future needs by doing some things that I'll show you as we go through the tour. For instance, there are steps leading up to the front door, which can be a hazard for falls. However, if you walk over this way, they actually have a ramp. One thing you want to think about is when you're traveling from your car or the sidewalk into your house, you want to make sure that your pathways are clear and wide and well lit. In this case, they actually have some landscape lighting. You can actually get photosensitive lighting now that will come on as it gets dark, which is nice to have. Or you can get motion sensors for actually when you travel by the light, it'll automatically turn on. In any case, having mulch that's off the sidewalk, clear paths with no obstacles. These steps don't have handrails, but that's certainly something you can install. Another thing you can think about for whether it's exterior steps or interior steps is you can actually do lighting at the steps themselves to help light your path as you go. If you don't want to invest in that, especially for your inside steps, you can also think about putting night lights or other hallway lighting in your outlets as you go down. Having a garage where you can go in and out directly from the house to your car without getting into the weather is really helpful in reducing fall risks. This actually is a good threshold between the outside and inside surfaces. This is really screwed down tight and nice and solid. The other thing that I want to point out here as you go into this garage is the good use of lighting. Clear lighting and being able to see your path as you travel, whether it's walking, getting from place to place is really important. The other thing that these homeowners have in here is they have these really nice mats right inside the door. So if you're tracking in, whether it's rainwater, snow, or whatever off your feet, it's a nice big mat surface, which is going to get most of that off your shoes before you travel onto the slicker concrete. The other thing that this house has are nice wide doors and plenty of room to navigate around the doors, getting in and out of the house. They actually have a bench right here too, which is really helpful to be able to sit down, put shoes on, take them off right next to the door, or put things down if you have to. If you're trying to get into the house, unlock the door, you actually have a place to put your things down and then go into the house after that. This house has a nice wide landing, type of house that has a smaller landing, let's say only less than 5 feet square in front of your door. Sometimes that can make for a really awkward entrance when you go to open the door and then you have to maneuver around it to get in the house. That's going to be a trip hazard. So that's something you'll want to think about, possibly extending the size of the landing itself or the deck or the porch or whatever the entrance is, so that you have enough room to get to the side of the door and actually getting into the house. Now, the other thing to think about is the threshold itself, that this threshold is solid. There's usually a metal strip here between the outer and inner surfaces. You want to make sure that this is secure and that it's relatively low grade, the way this one is, from one transition to the other side. These homeowners also have heavy mats. This can be a trip hazard, depending on how you apply them. So in this case, these are heavy rubber backs, which are going to be less of a hazard. If you're concerned about your foot picking up the corner of the mat and actually it being a trip hazard, they do make double-sided carpet tape, which you can apply to the underside of the mat and reduce that risk. So as we walk into this house, the first thing you'll notice is that the walkways are clear, wide, and straight. That's going to be one of the biggest benefits of reducing falls within your house. The lighting in this house is also even and bright. Seniors on average need 2 to 3 times more lighting than younger people, and having different levels of lighting. Ambient or general lighting, which is your lighting that lights up the whole room. Then you have accent lighting, such as over bookcases or wall sconces or picture lighting, and then task lighting, which would be desk lighting, a reading light over your bed, for instance. All those different levels of lighting are all going to contribute to how well lit your house is. Now, they actually have an area rug in here. If falls are a concern to you, you can remove the rug completely. You can also, like I mentioned with the entrance, take double-sided carpet tape and apply that to the back of the rug. You just want to make sure that it's secure on all the edges. Now, another thing you can do is for low-lying furniture, such as these stools, the coffee table, you can actually remove those especially if you have a vision impairment. Sometimes people get in a hurry or the lighting isn't good and they can actually trip over these things. But sometimes you can also just consider moving them along the sides of the wall or out of the way of the flow of traffic. So a big consideration in reducing the risk of falls is your floor coverings. You're going to want to look at all the floors in your house. And the nice thing about this house is that everything is on one grade on the lower floor, which means they have continuous floors, as you can see, from room to room. If you don't have that, then you want to make sure that your transitions, which are your change in materials from one room to the next, are minimal, as in half an inch or less, if possible. Your carpet should be tight if you have carpet, pulled tightly wall to wall. If over time it's become stretched or there's a bump or it's loose, you can actually call a flooring installer, or there are people who actually come in and will re-stretch carpet for you at a minimum charge. Another thing to think about is your carpet, especially on your stairs, shouldn't be ripped or torn in any way. If it is, you need to get that repaired or stapled down solid so that you're not tripping over it. So here we are at the stairs. Stairs have a lot of considerations for people who have a fall risk to consider. First thing is make sure you have a clear landing. You should never put anything on the steps themselves. Clutter doesn't belong on the stairs because that is a huge fall risk. So if you have room for a small table to stage items, maybe going upstairs, you can also do a small wall shelf or a hook with a bag, just to keep items off the steps if you are going to be taking them from floor to floor. Another thing is to have sturdy railings, such as this one. Some people, it's actually recommended that you have them on both sides of the stairs for more security, but that's something that can definitely be added at some point in the future. The other thing about these steps is they have a low rise height, which is this distance right here. We actually want them to be deep enough also to be able to accommodate your whole foot. 8 inches is the minimum, but 10 or 11 inches wide from this point to here is actually better. And the rise itself shouldn't be any higher than 7 inches. These look a little bit lower than that, which will help with movement. Now, the other thing is if you have visibility or are concerned about missing the first or last step, or if you just are concerned about missing a step in general, you can take paint or tape and actually apply it on the edge of the steps, which will help increase your visibility as you're navigating the steps up and down. As far as outdoor steps, a lot of people have decks and porches, which can get very slippery during the wintertime with ice or even mildew in the spring. One thing you can do out there is they make a paint that has a textured surface, grit surface now when it dries. You can actually paint your surfaces with that material, and that'll help with fall resistance. The other thing about handrails is handrails should be round or oval if possible. These are more flat, but actually you can grip these really well. What you don't want is the big fat decorative handrails that you used to see, because those are a lot harder to grip if you are actually in the process of falling. One feature that this house has that is a little bit unusual is they actually have an elevator. An elevator is definitely something to consider to reduce fall risk between floors and carrying things from floor to floor. This is their dining room area. The nice thing in here is the lighting levels, but also they have these nice sturdy chairs. And it's nice to have an armchair with sturdy arms in case you need to push up to support yourself getting up and down out of the chair. In the kitchen, one of the considerations is to have the items that you use most often within reach, generally between your waist and your shoulder height, so you're not reaching too high above or below to get everyday items such as plates, glasses, bowls, things like that. And all your appliances, as you can see, are at lower levels, the microwave, the toaster oven, easily within reach. Most people actually have a mat in front of their sink. Mats, again, are one of those things, they can be a trip hazard if it's not the right type of mat. Again, I would say if you're going to have a mat, have it with a rubber backing or use the double-sided tape to apply it to the floor. Mats can be good in a sink situation though, because if water splashes onto the floor, it'll reduce the risk of you slipping and falling. If you do spill though, I would say, if nothing else, wipe up spills quickly. So I want to talk a little bit about lighting. This house actually has the benefit of having a lot of natural light, as you can see. The nice thing is that they are able to control the amount of light with the window shades. You can also use, if you don't want glare coming in this case they have a balcony outside which helps control that, but if you do have glare coming in from specific windows, if you put lightweight curtains, that will help filter the light and reduce that glare. The other thing that they have is a lot of downlights. These are actually LEDs, which have a longer lifespan. LEDs are great because not only are they energy efficient, but it's going to require less of you having to get up and replace light bulbs more frequently. I would definitely consider LEDs throughout the higher spaces in your home for sure. And you want to make sure that all of your lights and your lamps are in good working order and are replaced as they go out, especially at the stairs. Another thing to consider is that instead of the standard light switches, these homeowners have installed the rocker switches and the pressure switches, which are more convenient. And actually, they have dimmer switches on a lot of these lights too, which is something to think about your lighting levels throughout the day. At night, you probably want to turn the lighting down, which will help with your circadian rhythm. And but during the day, obviously, you want to be able to have it nice and bright to be able to see what you're doing if you're doing specific tasks. You can see in this kitchen too, they have under cabinet lighting. This is the type of task lighting. This is going to actually help reading recipes and making recipes and things like that. Which here in the South, we love our ceiling fans. One thing to think about is if you have fans, whether it's inside your house or in this case on the porch, you don't want to have to reach up to pull those cords. So one thing to consider is actually having a switch mounted on the wall. A lot of them come with remote controls now that you can just hold in your hand to control the fan speed, the lighting, if there's a light on it, things like that, just to eliminate having to reach up and pose a risk for falling. You can see in this kitchen that a lot of their storage space is at counter height or below. In this case, they actually have their pots and pans in these nice, wide, deep drawers, which is easy to access as far as being able to pull the drawer out and get what you need, put it on the counter. They have a lot of storage space in here. Even underneath this, this sink counter out here on the island, there's plenty of storage all the way around this entire island, which is really helpful. As you get older, you're not going to want to reach into these upper cabinets. So one thing that people are actually considering now is eliminating upper cabinets and just doing display shelving or displaying artwork instead. So that's something to think about. It's not going to be the solution for everyone. All this is based on what your individual needs are, but at least having the lower storage and having that capability is going to be something that you're going to want to consider. We are in the pantry, and I just wanted to show you that how things are placed well in this pantry area. These small appliances are easily reachable, but you don't have to reach above your head to get them, and you don't have to reach too low. So everything is pretty much within the waist to shoulder height reach that I was explaining earlier. These are a lot of their everyday used items, which is great. Everything is right here. They also use Lazy Susans to be able to maximize storage space, and there's a cart here for actually putting things on and moving from room to room. So it just makes it easier for the homeowners to be able to do their everyday kitchen activities in a way that doesn't put them at risk for falls. One good thing to invest in as far as having tools around the house is a sturdy step stool. This one folds easily and it's sturdy as you step on it. They actually have some that have rails on either side that you can hold on to too. Having several of these spaced throughout the house eliminates the need to carry one from place to place, whether it's up and down floors, room to room. But a sturdy step stool is a valuable tool to have in any person's home. Okay, now we're going to talk about a big place where falls happen, which is the bathroom. This bathroom is probably pretty typical of one that most people have in their homes. If floor space is tight, this is a little bit tight in here, as you can see. You want to consider having the door swing outward from the room. Now, these homeowners actually installed a pocket door which slides, so that eliminates that problem. What you don't want is the door swinging inward, because if there's a fall and the person is injured and can't get up, sometimes they're actually laying against the door, and it's a real risk to be able to get them help. Another thing to look at is the shower in here. Most people are going to have a tub or a curb, which is this bump right here. This can be a fall risk, and navigating over that can be hazardous. One thing you can do is install grab bars inside and out of the shower. The real thing to think about is you want to always try to have 3 points of contact, whether it's both feet on the floor and holding on to something, or when you're raising your leg to move and your center of gravity is off, you want to be able to have 3 points in contact, so 1 foot and 2 arms. So whether there's a bench in there that's stable, grab bars, just something that's going to help you navigate getting in and out and over that that bump or the curb or the tub. Another thing to think about is your toilet. This house actually was built with blocking in the walls. You can't see it, but it's actually in the framing behind the drywall for future grab bars. Grab bars are going to give you security, getting on and off the toilet. If you don't want grab bars at the toilet, another consideration could be to have a commode seat placed over top of the toilet. That's something that you will want to work with your occupational therapist and get recommendations from them on what's going to work best for you. This is another bathroom in this same home, and this bathroom layout is a little bit different than the one we just saw. One thing I want to point out is you can't really see the surface on this tile, but this is really a non-slip tile. There's something called slip resistance coefficient on tile, which basically means there's a textured surface on here so that if water gets on here or something slippery, the slip resistance is going to be a lot higher as far as having an actual fall happen. So this is, even though it's tile, it's actually not a bad material to have in here. It's easily cleaned and not as slippery as some of the older ceramic tiles that had a glossy, slippery surface. Now you can see the shower in here is what they call a zero entry. It's completely flat. from the bathroom floor into the shower itself. It's nice and wide, and they have a shelf over here. The main shower is here, but it's nice because your soap, your shampoo, everything is within reach right here, and you don't have to do much turning or navigating. Now, the other thing that these homeowners have installed is a hand shower over here on this wall. This is nice because if you want to sit on the bench, let's say you're dizzy, or sometimes when you're sick, even that's a symptom. Or if you just want to sit and wash your feet, or that kind of thing, a hand shower makes it really, really convenient to do. And hand showers actually are easy to install. Just about anybody who's even a little bit handy can install them in a regular bathroom. The other thing about these showers, the shower, is the nice wide door. Door widths are going to help you as far as not feeling constrained and being able to move easily. A lot of people have tubs in their bathrooms, whether it's a freestanding tub like this one or one that has a shower. There's a few things you can do to eliminate fall risk at tubs. First thing is, these, as you can see here, having a really good non-stick mat to put in the tub is helpful. Another thing you can consider is actually rubber decals that apply on the bottom of the tub. So as you're standing there, you won't slip and fall. There's also, they also make strips in any home improvement store that you can apply to the bottom of the tub if you can't find actual decals. The other thing to consider is it's called a tub transfer bench. It's a bench that would allow you to be able to sit and actually swing your legs over the tub, and therefore reducing fall risk. So we're in the bedroom, and one of the things to think about with your bed is the actual height of the mattress itself. What you want to really aim for is when you're actually sitting on the bed or getting out of bed, that your legs are at a 90-degree angle to the floor. So it's not too high and not too low. If your mattress is low, they actually make plastic bed risers that you can put under the feet, which will give you a little bit of extra height. The other thing you can think about is, and an occupational therapist can help with this, is they actually make bed rails that will slip in between the mattress and the box spring that you could actually put your weight on to be able to get up and down out of bed. Another important consideration is having good lighting beside the bed. Seniors tend to get up a lot during the night to go to the bathroom and other things. We want to make sure that there's a light within easy reach. If you don't have an actual lamp or a space for a table with a lamp beside your bed, you can actually think about having a wall-mounted switch put within arm's reach of wherever you sleep to be able to turn the light on easily while you're in bed. Another thing to think about is having a phone close by with emergency phone numbers right there, and a charging cord, because you want to make sure that phone is charged if you get up or wake up and realize that you need help or you need to call someone. The last thing I want to mention in this bedroom is that these homeowners have a nice, sturdy armchair. It's nice because as they're putting on shoes or getting dressed in the morning, they can actually push up and not worry about the chair moving or slipping out from underneath them. It's nice and heavy, and it's got some well-structured arms on either side. Thanks for taking time to go through this house and talk about fall prevention tips. If you want more information, I've actually put together a list of 50 fall prevention tips for your home. This will be available on my website, www.matchlineinteriors.com. Also, if you want further referrals or resources as far as contractors, vendors, people who might be able to help you with renovations, modifications, occupational therapists, certified aging in place specialists, and things like that, feel free to reach out to the Northern Wake Senior Center, and they can also connect with resources for seniors if needed to get you that information.